So I'm gonna show quickly how to use Pro Q's unmasking tool to clear out your vocal and make space for your vocal. You can also use this with kick drums when competing with bass, any instrument that you wanna where they might be competing frequencies. You can use the unmasking feature to have it basically duck out whenever that thing sounds. So we're gonna use sidechain or we're gonna use Pro Q to demonstrate that. All right, so let's start by listening to what we have. We have this beat. Okay, so we want that vocal to cut through. So let's go ahead and take this vocal and assign it to the mixer. Let's rename it vocal so we don't get confused here. Vox. Cool. We assign it to the mixer. Control L. It's the shortcut. Boom. There's on the mixer. So we're going to put Pro Q on here. And we're going to put Pro Q on, let's see, what we're saying is competing is this string. Let's put a Pro Q on the string. So first thing I'm going to do is down this analyzer, I can look and see all other instances of Pro Q. Since I have Pro Q on the vocal, I can click this and it'll literally show me both. So you see where it's red right there? That means that's where they're conflicting. A little right here, a little here, a little here. So I want to duck that out. You got to choose who's going to be dominant. I think that I'm going to make the instruments be dominant, okay? So I know the vocal's going to be dominant. So that means when the vocal sings, I want certain frequencies to cut out or duck down using dynamic compression. So Pro Q that's why Pro Q is such a powerful tool. All right, I'm going to sidechain my Vox to the strings because I want the strings to duck whenever the Vox hits, just like we did with the kick in the sub bass, right? This is sidechain. This is sidechain. So every time the kick is hitting, you see how that's ducking. So we're going to do the same thing with the vocal. So I sidechained the vocal to the sample strings. Right click, sidechain to this track. Now to activate the sidechain in Pro Q, it takes a couple extra steps. I have to click on settings, click on processing, and then right click stereo sidechain. And I'm saying the Vox. The vocal is what the sidechain is going to be. So now from here, let's bring back up this conflict screen. Tell me where there's conflict. Wherever it looks like a conflict, I'm going to add some little knobs here. Where else? And maybe a little here. All right, so make these, you don't want to be too wide with those cuts, right? But, on the one hand, you could just cut it, right? And just say, okay, I want it to cut there because the vocal is competing. And that's where you do with a lot of these because you're just basing it off of, you don't have too many options. But with Pro Q, we can actually set it up as a side chain. So it only ducks when the vocal is going. So it's up to you what you want to do. But that's why I'm going to set this up. So basically, I'm going to click one of these. And the way that you do dynamic compression is you don't change this big guy. You click above it. And you're going to pull that down. And that just shows it's going to duck in those areas. Since we have the side chain set up, we can click auto. And this is the side chain thing. So you'll notice now it'll only duck when the vocal sings. Let's check it. See, when the vocal's not hitting, right? It only goes down when the vocal's hitting. So I'm going to highlight all these other pieces and do the same thing. Duck it down. and then set it to do when the vocal's going. And now it's creating a lot more space for that vocal, so I can actually even turn it down and I can still hear it. It's finding a nice pocket. Now it's like we're sitting in the mix, right? Now you can even take it a step further because Pro Q is such a powerful tool. This is cutting in stereo, meaning left, right, middle. If you only have your vocal in the middle, you can actually change these to mid, which shows that it'll only duck out the mid frequencies of those strings when the vocal hits. So you can keep that side stuff and keep it like loud on the sides, but you're still carving out a space in the middle. So you can get real deep with this. Pro Q is a very powerful tool. One other thing, the zero latency mode, that's what you should do until you're exporting anything. When you export it, then turn it to natural phase or linear phase. But don't try to have a lot of those on or it's going to eat up your CPU. But yeah, there you go. So sidechain your vocals to competing instrumental tracks and do dynamic compression using Pro Q or a similar thing. Okay, cool.